Review number 1. I was really excited, and a little bit apprehensive, to get this new Singer Simple 3223Y sewing machine. Although I'm not strictly a beginner, I haven't owned or used a sewing machine for over 30 years. But I desperately wanted some new sun porch curtains and, with 5 sliding glass doors to cover, I knew I could make them far cheaper than I could buy them. Now, I'm old enough that I actually took sewing in home EC class in junior high school in the 1950s and grew up with the benefit of a grandmother who was an expert seamstress. I know how a pattern actually goes together, so sewing wasn't exactly a foreign concept to me. But my problem in the past has always been adjustments the sewing machine needed. And I could never get the tension right or keep it right, it seemed. I kind of envied Grandma's old Singer that had been converted from treadle to electric. Very few adjustments. So I was excited to see the clear directions offered in the video that came with this new Singer. Threading this machine is a snap. It almost threads itself. No more opening the head and trying to thread through a series of small eyelets. Just bring the thread through the zigzag slots from right to left and it is basically done. I also learned something else from the enclosed Ready, Set, Sew DVD. I never knew you needed to have the slot on the thread spool at the far right end to avoid snagging it, one of those things you learn too late in life. Within minutes, I was sewing on some scrap practice fabric and had the tension just right. I was really pleased with how easy it was. The presser arm actually raises the foot high enough to easily get your fabric in or out of position. Very nice. This machine comes with the ability to adjust to 23 stitch patterns in various widths and lengths. I haven't tried them all out yet and suspect I won't use more than a few different stitches, as I probably won't be doing much fancy sewing. But, with the help of the enclosed DVD, I now see how they are supposed to look rather than spending a lot of time, trial and error getting them just right. The 4-step buttonhole maker looks pretty easy. Far easier than any I've attempted to use in the past. I say attempted as I never actually mastered the buttonhole art before. I would have been lost trying to figure out all of the different foot attachments without the DVD, but I now see what they are supposed to do and how they can make project completion easier. The machine comes with an all-purpose foot, button sewing foot, buttonhole foot, and a zipper foot. These should serve most of my sewing needs. The only one I think I may need in the future is a walking foot, for working with several layers, as in quilting. They can be purchased at many fabric stores such as Joann's. The screwdriver needed to change accessories and make adjustments is included, as are a darning plate and a quilting or edge guide. There are also needles, bobbins, a second thread spool pin for working with twin needles. I can only dream I'll be there someday. A brush for cleaning the lint out of the workings, a seam ripper, a soft fabric cover and an instruction book. All of the smaller accessories fit in a handy removable case that attaches to the front of the machine bed. Removing the storage case makes the machine a narrow free arm capable of smaller sleeves and cuffs. Between the instruction book and the DVD, you have a complete beginning sewing course in the box. The DVD is quite dated. The video looks, from the styles depicted, to date back to about 1970. It also is not specific to this machine and covers most modern Singer machines. But it is very instructive and I can see I'll be referring to it repeatedly for attempting different tasks. Now, if I can actually figure out how to machine sew on a button, I will consider myself an expert. LOL. At around $100 with S 25-year limited warranty, this is the one all-around machine you need for standard household sewing. I would highly recommend it for a beginning and maybe lifetime machine. And with the Singer name, should it need repairs, Any sewing machine shop should be able to get it working correctly in a jiffy. All around good little machine. And my new curtains look great. Review number 2. My sewing experience is limited to 8th grade homemaking classes. I have been wanting to try my hand at curtains and pillowcases. I received this sewing machine in exchange for an honest review. I jumped at the chance. The directions are very straightforward and I was able to make some curtains easily. This is a simple machine without bells and whistles. I appreciate that. It has a very classic look which I also appreciate. This sewing machine definitely seems like a very well-made machine that will go the distance. I'm already dreaming of making my own Halloween costume, maybe a matching one for the hubs. Review number 3. Love my machine. I am a new sewer and this machine is so simple to use. Instructions are clear and some are on the machine. Review number 4. First of all, this mint color is very cute. Very easy to use. I have not been sewing for years, and it was very easy to put the threads on. My hands did everything automatically. Smiley face, and start sewing. I did not even realize how much I missed sewing. So far I made curtains only and had no problems with anything. Review number 5. The machine sews beautifully on both thick and thin fabrics. My only issue is with the side load bobbin. Had a hard time loading it and getting the thread to come up. Review number 6. This is a gift for Christmas. I bought the same machine for my older daughter. She loved it. My 11-year-old is just starting out and interested in sewing. No better way to learn than on your own machine. Singer is a favorite in my family and has been since the first model. I'm excited for Christmas morning. Review number 7. Great machine for the price and good for the beginner or someone who's sewn a long time. Has a lot of different stitches to choose. I bought all 3 colors. I couldn't decide and love the machine. Review number 8. I made a quilt once and didn't touch a sewing machine for another 10 years. This was the first time since. The machine is really straightforward. If you've ever used a sewing machine before, you don't need instructions if you are familiar with how they work. I have no idea what bells and whistles might accompany a sewing machine, so a friend of mine looked at it and said it really should just be called basic rather than simple. It has everything you'd want in a regular machine, including things like a button foot and a slew of decorative stitches. A different sewing friend pointed out that many components are made out of plastic rather than metal, but for $130 I'm not sure you'd expect a lot of metal parts. Me and my inexperienced self found it very easy to use. I might feel compelled to make something. A good, inexpensive basic machine that even has a cool vintage look. Review number 1. I was really excited, and a little bit apprehensive, to get this new Singer Simple 3223Y sewing machine. Although I'm not strictly a beginner, I haven't owned or used a sewing machine for over 30 years. But I desperately wanted some new sun porch curtains and, with 5 sliding glass doors to cover, I knew I could make them far cheaper than I could buy them. Now, I'm old enough that I actually took sewing in home EC class in junior high school in the 1950s and grew up with the benefit of a grandmother who was an expert seamstress. I know how a pattern actually goes together, so sewing wasn't exactly a foreign concept to me. But my problem in the past has always been adjustments.